back so soon. Yep. So I'm having a bit of a mini celebration, drinking I can't remember. It's a German beer. So no fear. Oh, it's Beck's actually. It's Beck's. Beck's is an excellent German beer. Really good. Okay, so what I was saying about the 372 muffler, what I was going to do. I said I was going to eliminate the original port. I'm not going to. I may in the future, because there's no spark screen there. The muffler's completely empty. There's no spark screen, so it's sort of kind of illegal. But the West Coast SAW universal port, right, does have a spark screen. I don't know if you can see the spark screen in there. I'd have to shine a torch. Yeah, you can see a spark screen now, seeing straight through it. So with the universal port you get this stuff, right? And that is, focus, yeah, that is all the hardware for installing riv nuts. I think they're called riv nuts. And it's a bit of a, so the first one that I ever installed was on the G366 muffler, and it's a bit of malarkey and it does leave a space, and you know what, it's an effective system, but I don't think it's as good as it can be. I've come up with my own system, so I'll just give you a good look at the muffler. Okay, how does that look? Does that look okay? That looks pretty good. So if you've got a 372, whether it's an OEM Husqvarna or whether it's a G362 like this is, and this is intended for the other one, I've come up with a new system. I thought, you know what, I don't want to use the riv nuts. I really don't. What I really wanted to do was take this apart and weld a couple of nuts at the back inside, so I can just screw the screws in. Now, an even quicker and easier system is what I just did, and it quite literally took me about 20 minutes in total, actual work done. Bit of mucking around. I had to muck around a bit with my Dremel because yeah, I think the collet that I was using is a bit worn out or whatever, but anyway. So yeah, it took me not long at all. So what I did was I put the port where I wanted it, clamped it down. I actually just held it down really hard. Used a 90-degree scribe, went in there, scribed the aperture that I had to cut, and then in the corners, just with one of those spring-loaded punches, I punched the 4 holes for the 4 corners. I used I think 2 mil pilot drill just in the corners, and then I used, I think, 3 mil, and so they've got a 1.5 mil radius because it's a 3 mil drill. Might have been a 4 mil drill, I can't remember now. And then I got the Dremel with a cutting disc and just cut. And also I employed those bits that I showed you that I bought for the first time and just took off all the burrs everywhere with that. They're nice bits. Then what I did was I got 4 mil bolts, 4 mil nuts, and I put, because you've got that aperture, right? It's a fair size aperture, right? I got the bolt, and with a pair of needle nose pliers, and just slip the bolt through either side, so the bolts were hanging down. Then I got the spark screen and the port and slipped them on, held them there, right? And then because the bolt was like 12 mil or something, it was a fair length, I could actually put some force on the bolt, start screwing the nut on one side, did the same on the other side, and then just held the bolt the shank of the bolt and thread of the bolt, and just got them as finger tight as I could. And then, rather surprisingly, just with a small spanner, I was able to do them up super tight. They didn't rotate, they didn't spin. And then I thought, you know what, I want to double nut them. So I Loctited it, put the second nut on. Now they're really, really tight and Loctited. And with the Dremel cutoff bit, I just cut them flush. So now this muffler is ready to go. Spark screen and everything installed. To me, that was a much easier system than with the rib nuts. The rib nutting takes time, and again, it does leave a space, which I don't like and I didn't like. This is a much easier system. If I want to clean the spark screen, there's no problems. I can just undo it and take it apart, and Bob's your uncle. So I'll give you another look again. That's how it looks. I think this is a better system, not just because it's my system. There's probably someone else out there who's thought of the same thing, I don't know, but I've not seen anything on YouTube regarding that. So if West Coast Store ever see this, you know, refer them to my video. So the port that I used is their smallest port, which is a 1 1/8 by 2 3/8 universal port. So if you want to do the same thing, that's the one you get. The item number is 100-0705. Again, it's universal port, universal power port, 1 1/8 by 2 3/8, includes hardware. Yeah, but I don't use the hardware. I have no intention of doing this rib nutting nonsense ever again. This is a much, personally I think, a much better system. It's my system, so naturally. But yeah, and probably, maybe, I don't know, maybe in future I will remove this silly thing. But because the muffler, yeah, the muffler's empty, and there's no spark screen on this, that's a bit dodgy. But so there you go. That took me no time at all. Quite literally, it took me about 20 minutes to do that. Actual work time didn't take very long at all. So you know, if you're thinking of modifying your 372 muffler or other enclosed mufflers, this is my system for doing enclosed mufflers. All right, mufflers that you have to pry open or heat up and you know, and pry open and all that malarkey. They look horrible after they've been finished. You know, like Bodie at Empire Workshop, he just did one recently that I watched. Yeah, it looked like a mess. Sorry, Bodie, but yeah, it does. Yeah, so there you go. So if you want to modify your 372 muffler and want it to look really nice like that, that's how to do it. Next time. See you later.